and bamboo are useful materials that commonly grow in the uplands of northern Laos. Harvesting and selling these materials can provide an important livelihood opportunity for local communities. However, using only basic tools for felling, extraction, and skidding, the harvesting and transport process can be time-consuming and physically strenuous, resulting in low productivity and higher costs. Purely manual systems will therefore only be feasible if the final product value is quite high and can absorb the higher harvesting costs. Alternative harvesting technologies allow for a significant increase in productivity from traditional manual methods. They are particularly needed if the product value is lower, such as for use as fuel wood for biomass energy. There are a number of mechanized options available, each having specific advantages for different locations. The introduction of mechanized harvesting systems means that workers are required to familiarize themselves with and wear safety equipment while operating the machines. Essential equipment includes helmet, gloves, trousers, and boots. This vital equipment helps protect the workers from injury while using the machines, as well as from falling objects and other hazards. If the forest floor is overgrown and the bamboo unmanaged and located on steep slopes, it can be difficult and time-consuming to clear the clump and prepare the area for felling with improved equipment. Manual felling with the machete from inside the clump is very difficult, as there is a lack of space to make the cuts. In order to encourage regeneration, it is recommended that poles from the inner part of the clump are removed in a downhill-facing U-shape. The chainsaw makes the felling process much quicker and more precise than using the machete. Using the chainsaw, the feller can work efficiently inside the clump, cutting the poles close to the ground. Using the traditional methods, untangling and extracting the individual bamboo poles is time-consuming and labor-intensive. Entangling of culms can make up over 80% of the felling time. The introduction of portable winches assists the workers to extract the bamboo. The winch rope can be put and secured around a number of bamboo poles, depending on the pulling capacity of the winch, ready for extraction from the clump after cutting the poles. Attaching the rope before felling ensures that the poles remain in the same place and can be extracted in one operation. The portable handspill winch is a lightweight option that can be easily carried by one person. It pulls with a force of approximately 700 kilograms and can accommodate an unlimited rope length with a maximum strength of about 2,000 kilograms. The light weight and long rope length of the spill winch gives it great versatility and makes it particularly useful in dense forested areas. Werner Z-Max winches were built in the 1960s to be used on vineyards on very steep slopes where no wheel or rubber-tracked equipment could operate. Its rugged design makes it ideal for use in remote mountainous forests. It is heavier than the hand winch and requires 2 people to carry, or alternatively, it can pull itself up using its sledge system. It could also be placed on a 2-wheel handcart to be moved around. Its folding ground anchors make it particularly useful if it is to be placed on dry paddy fields where no other objects can be used to fix the winch. The spool can hold up to 80 meters of steel rope and is more powerful with its 1.9 horsepower engine. Delimbing of the bamboo is necessary to make the poles easier to transport. In addition to the machete, the chainsaw can also be used as an option for delimbing. Once the poles have been delimbed, they are stacked, ready to be transported to the roadside. Carrying the poles to the roadside is labor inefficient, as the maximum load that can be carried by each person is only around 30 kilograms. Each person can cover a distance of 100 meters in 2 to 3 minutes. The Sulky is a simple, lightweight, manually operated device that uses a teethed clamp bank on 2 wheels to lift the bamboo, reduce friction, and allow it to be pulled over longer distances to the roadside. The Sulky can easily be modified to be used with timber. Once enough material has been prepared, a bundle of around 120 to 150 kilograms is loaded onto the Sulky. The bundle is secured using straps with ratchet locks so the load does not slip off during the trip. The pace of forwarding with the Sulky is normal walking pace. However, the advantage over manual handling is that much more weight can be transported on each trip. For downhill transport, a simple spade-like braking mechanism prevents the Sulky from accidentally pushing downhill uncontrolled. It is not possible to use the Sulky for uphill extraction efficiently, since the pulling force required for heavy loads exceeds human capacity. The imported 13 horsepower Lennoforce Iron Horse is a pedestrian-controlled crawler that uses rubber tracks. This model has one built-in hydraulic winch system towards the back for extraction. It is steered using the adjustable steering arm. For heavily entangled clumps, the Iron Horse can be anchored using a second manually operated winch that is built into the front of the machine. The anchor is attached to a suitably strong anchoring point opposite the bamboo to be extracted. The rope is put around the bamboo culms prior to cutting. Tightening the rope while cutting the poles will help the directional felling with the chainsaw. Please apply very low tension to not compromise safe operation. The superior power of the Iron Horse winch allows more bamboo culms to be extracted from the clump at one time. Loads extracted with the winch can be accumulated and then loaded onto the clamp bank to a total of 500 kilograms. This rubber-tracked crawler is locally made and has been adapted from a rice thresher. It has no winch, but has been specifically designed to hold 350 to 400 kilograms of bamboo at one interval and work in steep and rough terrain. The crawler is loaded in a similar way to the clamping device of the Sulky. As the crawler is mechanized, not only can more weight be carried, but it is much less strenuous for the operator. The logging winch is mounted to the rear of the tractor and connected to the power takeoff with a drive shaft. Its 3-ton pulling force is significantly more powerful than the other machines. This extra power enables the extraction of an average load of up to 1.5 tons of material at a distance of up to 60 meters. The 38 horsepower tractor engine also gives a higher drive speed, which allows for reduced forwarding times. Tractor winches with a higher pulling force of up to 7 tons can be used if they are attached to tractors with higher engine capacity. Additional weights at the front of the tractor reduce the risk of backward tilting while pulling heavy loads. As with the Iron Horse, the load can be pulled directly to the tractor. Since the winched loads are higher, they can then be lifted onto the winch back plate and then forwarded directly to the roadside without delimbing and reloading at the extraction site. Depending on the tractor in use, there may be limitations to its ability to move on steep sloped areas in dense forests. Therefore, it has greater application in more accessible locations and on flat terrain. The basic tool used for traditional manual harvesting of teak is the crosscut saw. The teak is then carried by hand to roadside for transportation. 2 workers are required to operate the crosscut saw, each pulling alternately to generate the sawing action. This simple felling method is time-consuming, labor-intensive, and physically demanding. The use of the chainsaw means that a single worker can now easily fell the tree with minimal physical exertion, and thus ensure a higher return to labor. The hand sulky is a significantly improved method of manual forwarding teak. To lift the tree off the ground, a chain is first secured around the base of the tree. The operator then uses the handle as a lever, and the chain attached in the slotted bar to lift the log, thus minimizing friction for transportation. It can also be used to remove tree which get entangled in neighboring crowns off the stump. Using mechanized winch systems and forwarding machinery greatly reduces the physical burden of lifting the heavy logs and transporting them to the roadside. Making use of alternative harvesting technologies, such as those shown in this instructional video, allow for a significant increase in labor productivity over traditional manual methods. These improved, appropriate technologies allow fewer but longer pieces, as in the case of teak, and heavier total loads in the case of bamboo, to be harvested and transported. The result is a marked increase in labor efficiency and higher returns to labor from harvesting and transporting individual or small pieces. They make harvesting these forest products a more commercially viable livelihood opportunity.